Greetings, friends. Welcome to another episode of Inks and Lead. Now, today is going to be a little less about the drawing, more about kind of like what's been going on. So I'm going to draw, doing more of the like neurographic art. It's soothing for me, helps me focus. I do some doodles still, but whenever I need to think or kind of process information, let me do that. Got some notes set up over here and a stopwatch, so I kind of know where I'm at, because I've been having some issues like transferring and doing all this video stuff with running overtime and coming into some issues. So I'm wanting to do like 30 minutes or less. So if I don't finish this, hopefully I'll finish the thoughts. And this should help me focus in my thoughts a little bit. Today, it was good up until a point. It was still good, but my concern is more about my reactions to the end of the day. How my reactions were very unstoic-like, if I could use that. Can't think of a word to kind of define it. I didn't bear things well. I wonder how, if lines going to each of these centers, I wonder how that would look. We'll try it. Anyways, how you bear things. I think is probably the greatest measurement of character. How your character is seen by others. I think it was Seneca. I was like, it doesn't matter what you bear, but how you bear it. Pretty sure that was Seneca. How I bared tonight wasn't good. It wasn't anything serious. Well, kind of. I have a bowl. That's like my sport. Or hobby, however you want to define it. My activity, physical. And I did not bowl well. slightly an understatement. And how I bared that? I wasn't angry by any means. Well, I wasn't lashing out at other people. I was definitely upset with myself. But being upset with myself, a lot of times I feel like that's okay. You know, I'm upset with myself. I'm not upset with anybody else. But how many people kind of took it as me being upset in general, and therefore kind of upset with them? There's a lot of people that were around me. My computer's making noises. So this channel's kind of a time capsule for my children. And I think that this is a good subject for them to kind of know about me. That I'm sure they're going to know that I'm not perfect, but kind of more of an insight of who I am, how I think about and process different situations, or at least my interpretation of the situations. Because I don't think the facts matter so much. Unless you're a detective, the facts usually are very well, try to mute my computer so that it stops making noises. Distracting me. I need to make a note to also get a glass of water before I start this. And actually, I'm going to kind of... Do I want to pause it? Yeah, I'm going to pause it. I'm going to go get a glass of water. Glass of water acquired. Now, where was I? No idea. Interruptions completely derail a really awesome train of thought. Anyways, the ideas of controlling how you react to the world around you. What is important what is I always try to think of like what is modifiable. Like what can I modify about the event? What can you control? And how can you react to it? Because I was frustrated. I wasn't bowling my best. I wasn't doing my best, and I was, well, downright belligerent with myself. I didn't offend anyone, I don't think. But I definitely did not make their time with me enjoyable. And I don't like that thought. I want people's memory of me to be pleasant, you know? I don't strive for it. Like, it's not a necessity. But it's definitely something I want. I think it's what everybody wants, deep down. You know, you don't want to make people miserable. That's not a happy life. And you shouldn't get beat up over it, if you do. But you should reflect upon it. Because it is important. It's important to understand how you work, how you work with others. How you react in a crisis, which a kind of crisis is what opened up my thought process on this little video, which I haven't made a video in probably a month. I've been very distracted. I still have been drawing. I haven't really made videos. I think that's a very bad idea. I want to make videos. I want to get my thoughts out there. Even if it's only for people in the future. Even if it's only a journal. But it got me thinking on kind of like some of the core beliefs that I've been trying to learn. I was upset with the bowling. My teammates weren't in the best of moods either. But they came into that situation like that. And then I got a notification saying that there was a shooting incident not far from my house where my children were, and that the individual or individuals were on the move, on the run. And my first instinct was to quit what I was doing and run home to my family. And so I discussed it with one of my family members who was at the house watching my kids while I went and did this. And thankfully, kind of reassured me that everything was going to be okay, and that even if I did come home, there was nothing I could do about it. And I agreed. There wouldn't be much that I could do. So, I decided to stay. Thankfully, nothing else happened, which is kind of a weird, rare occurrence. But when I stayed and I was bowling, I was thinking a lot of my reactions to not only that, but to bowling, to the people around me. And I tried improving my mood and my reactions to what I was doing and what I was doing wrong. And lo and behold, the night improved. My game improved. And I came home to a happy, healthy family, safe. And it was a lot of reaffirmation. I'm trying to control my emotions and my reactions. One of the hardest things was trying to ignore the people around me that were just completely dominated by their own negative emotions. And how much that was reacting to me. I'm wondering how this sounds gonna be, because I'm walking over here real quick to grab a giant pile of colored pencils. These are just the 4 that I grabbed. That's what I'm gonna use. Instead of controlling myself and how I was feeling about everything, I let other people kind of control me, which I don't like. Not necessarily control me, but control my emotions and my reactions to the environment around me. And that's not what I want. I want to be a master, Invictus, a master of my own fate. I think that was Invictus, right? Pretty sure. I don't want other people controlling my emotions. You know? It's something you learn from, and then just move on. So this is kind of like my reflection of moving on. Do you want to call it that? I don't think so. Because there's really never a need to get worked up over something you can't control. If you can control it, obviously, do so. Especially if it's negatively affecting your life. Learn how to master it. Easier said than done. But one of the ways of doing just that is processing it. Processing it in your head and trying to understand what you did, your reactions, other people's reactions to you. You know, were they weak? I don't want to say weak, but did they fall into the same trap? And feed off of your emotions to make their bad night even worse, instead of bringing about positivity to them. Sharpen this. That's not working. Let's try that. Sharpening color pencils. Not the easiest thing in the world to do. And I get easily distracted. What was I talking about? Oh, you affecting others. You know, you being remembered. Sought out and sought after kind of thing. want all of this to be yellow? It's a big commitment. Let's do it. I know I'm quiet a lot right now, but I'm thinking. Thinking about what I could have done better. How I could have done it better. And most importantly, this is the most important part. If you take anything away from this little session, take this away. After you've thought about it, you need to learn how to let it go. Because this is different than studying for a test. This is studying for your life. A test, you usually only take a couple times. You study it, you master the principles or the formulas or the equations, the dates. Then you go take a test to see how well you remember it. Life is a little different. You can't really prepare for life. But you can assess what has happened in your life and in others. To try to determine an alternative course of action in the future. For when something similar comes up. Because rarely are the same things going to pop up all the time. Most of the time it's going to be just an event that's similar. How you're going to control how you react in that situation. Now, it's important to identify that distinction. That you're preparing for future challenges. The number one thing that you do not want to do is hinder yourself in dealing with them. So if you're worried all the time because you have worked on identifying all the things you have done wrong in your life, your focus is going to be just that. Because you haven't let it go. You've thought about it, you've processed it, but there was no stop button. to thinking about it. It's like that embarrassing moment that you remember at like 2 o'clock in the morning on a night you can't sleep. And it's like, oh, why did I do that? It's always there. You haven't let it go. You can't let it go. So if everything you think of you hold on to, whenever a situation arises, it's compounded by all the things that you haven't let go. So when I'm done with this, I'm also going to be done with that idea. I'll still remember it. But I'm gonna do my best to not let it affect me, because after this point, the only thing that I can control, once again, is my reaction to it. And that's what brings about anxieties, and panics, because nothing has ever been let go. And I know, I had a PhD in anxiety for the longest time, because I never let anything go. It made me bitter and just not a pleasant person to be around, especially when I was like that. I didn't want to be around me. Other people didn't want to be around me. Just have to learn to move on from something like that. My ice machine does not sound happy right now. I want to color this in. I really hope that you can't hear that ice machine. I really hope. Hold on. Wow, I have no idea what that was. Anyways. When I had stop, I'm gonna close my eyes, take a deep breath, do that 3, 4, 5 times. And then I'm gonna stand up, change my state, go clean up, not worry about what happened today. I processed it, thought about it, talked about it. Instead of writing it down in like a journal and putting it on a video. Because I was so worked up about a bad performance at bowling that I was making myself miserable and the other people around me miserable. And vice versa. There was other people miserable and it was making me miserable. But I remember that there were people that were happy, that they enjoyed being there. But that didn't matter. That was not my focus. The miserable person was. Because they matched me and how I felt. So I felt connected by that. Even though it was wrong. I put value on that. I put value on an idea or an emotion that was outside of my control. Which, was it Seneca or was it Epictetus? Was one of them. One of them said, like, if you value stuff like that, you have even less control. And then I was kind of shocked into the fact that, you know, an actual emergency was going down. You know, close to my neighborhood. Close enough to make me, you know, concerned. Not close enough to be in an immediate danger, but it made me think. And now I've thought about it. Now I've processed it. I have drawn whatever this is. Do not ask me. It's lines and circles, something that I'm practicing. Kind of neographic art, kind of doodle. Almost tangle. Kind of looks like a egg monster. But time to go finish out my night. We're gonna sign this. And I'm gonna sign out. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you next time on Inks and Lead.